Thank you. How do we just begin to start creating further change for ourselves? I love table 2. Great job with the stories today. Like, just hearing what changes you guys have already made is such an incredible positive. And there's no like one strategy fits all, right? Everyone's going to have a strategy that works best for them. And I think it's really important that we're able to identify that. Also sharing it, right? If we can share what has worked well for us with others, some things might not resonate for someone else. And that's okay. That's an okay thing. But some things might resonate really well, and then the other individual can start to adapt that into their own practice. So it's all about what works for each individual person is what matters the most. Developing a plan, though. If we all develop a plan for ourselves, we write something down. We're making it on paper, something we can see every day, and we are just fully committing to it. That's going to be one of the best strategies that across the board works for everyone. So you've gone through the decision-making process. I need to make sure that I go to the store, I'm going to buy these items so that I can make these 2 meals. And then I have meal planned at least lunch for every single day of the week. I've written it down, my mind has connected to that plan, I probably memorized it better because I wrote it down, and now I've made a commitment to it. And then even one step deeper, maybe I tell somebody about it. Maybe we come to the meeting and we're like, you know what? This is what I did yesterday, and I'm going to make sure I do it this week. That way, all of a sudden, we've also added in the accountability factor. You're sharing something with someone that maybe it's even useful to them, maybe not. But then you're also holding yourself accountable for you, so that maybe you have to bring it up next week and be like, hey, I did it, and it was awesome. One of the meals was killer. The other meal was terrible. I need to do a better job making it. Maybe I'll get these ingredients this week. So like, you can bounce ideas, you can give good thoughts to other people, but then you're also holding yourself accountable in the process. And I think accountability is probably one of the like most needed things that we could have. The information, it's all out there. There's an abundance of information, right? We got the internet, you can find things all over the place. So there's ideas to stem off of, but the actual accountability and the actual doing part of it, that's the part that matters the most. And if we can really nail that, then we're going to set ourselves up for success. That's going to be a great thing. Focusing on one habit or behavior at a time. Now, maybe it's 2. You know what I mean? Like, some people will be ready for more change. Some people have already done 1. So maybe, you know what I mean? Maybe they're ready for a few more. But if we just focus on one thing, one change at a time, and we know it's something that we can succeed with, we're setting ourselves up for success. I don't know if anyone's done this. I have done this, where I have written a list of things that I need to do. I have like 15 to 20 things. I got to read these things so I can catch up on that information that is relevant to all of my clients in the world today. And then I got to make sure I make these foods. And then I got to do this. And then I'm overwhelmed. And then I'm stressed. And then I take a nap. And then I don't want to do any of those things, right? So like, we can't overwhelm ourselves because it's too easy to do, right? And we're not going to succeed that way. So if we say, you know what? This week, I'm going to get to sleep every single night at a good time. Maybe that's 10 p.m. Maybe for those who work at 5 a.m., maybe that's 9 or 8 p.m., right? So that could be the focus for an individual week. And now I'm focusing in on sleep. I'm getting into bed at a consistent time that supports 7, 8, maybe even 9 hours of sleep. I have a dark, cool environment. I don't have electronics in the room. In fact, I may be cutting off electronics an hour or so before. And maybe I just get into bed early and I have a book. Or I write things down and I journal. Or I do breathing techniques. Does not matter what you do, right? Like I gave 3 ideas. It could be one of those. It could be none of those. You could do anything else that you want, right? But I'm doing something consistent. I've made some rules, and the one singular focus, I'm going to get good sleep tonight, and then the next night, and then the next night. And the reason that I chose sleep is because I do think a lot of us struggle with it, and that is a struggle of my own. That's one of my greater struggles. But when I'm locked in on sleep, oh man, I feel great. Like the next day, or a couple of great days of sleep, you feel like you have the greatest boost of energy. Your body has recovered. All of the stressors that we go through throughout a day, which can be work, it can just be life, the natural stresses of life. It could be exercise. Exercise, although positive, is a stressor that we need to recover from. Any accumulation of stressors, we need to have that sleep to recover from, because that's when it happens. Our body reboots, our body rebuilds in that deep quality sleep. So, I'm just using that one as an example, but maybe that's my focus for a week, and then all of a sudden I've created a habit. Now I don't even have to think about it hard. I can move on to the next habit. Now, the next week, I'm going to focus on moving my legs more. And I'm feeling great because I'm sleeping well, and I don't even have to think about how I need to set myself up for sleep because I'm already doing it. The behavior has been made, and it is just second nature. It's just happening easily. I hope that makes sense, where the one thing at a time strategy can really, really be beneficial, and then you almost master it. You almost master it, which is a beautiful thing. This kind of, it's almost implied, but I think it really needs to be said. Prioritizing. We have so many distractions in the world. A lot of them matter. These things matter. It's not to lessen the importance of other things in life. But if we don't prioritize ourselves, even for a small part of our day and a small part of our week, it's not going to work, guys. It's not going to work. You have to make you the most important thing for at least a percentage of the week so that you can start to make some change. And it's really loving yourself too. Not letting the distractions of the world distract us. Pull us away from it. Pull us away from what needs to happen. And in turn, especially for a lot of us being, family, a caretaker, whatever that is, it's important that we keep ourselves in good health so that we can best care for others who really, really need us. And I've seen it so much. The best caretakers, just wearing themselves down and wearing themselves down. And I'm pretty passionate about that because if someone ever needed to help me, I don't want to see them crumble in the process. It's painful. It's not worth it. We want to thrive together. We all want to thrive together. So I really mean it. I think that's a very important one to never forget how important it is to prioritize yourself, even if it's for a small percentage of time. Focusing on outcomes and focusing on the long term. I do think we have a lot of parts in life that give us short-term satisfaction, right? The easy foods to reach for, the internet and the phone apps that can give us the short-term humor, right? Give us a nice little distraction, but fun for the moment, give us some joy, but they're not super productive to what is really going to benefit us, right? And I'm not saying you can't do any of that thing. That's not really the point, but it's not letting those short-term, gratifying things weigh us down and take us away from the long-term goals. So if what matters to me was I really want to make it out to go out with my friends and have dinner with them on a Friday, if that was an important thing to me, but my knees were in pain, and I wasn't moving throughout the week. And I kind of got caught up in social media, and I was just scrolling through social media for hours, and I didn't do the movements that I needed to do. And then Friday comes, and I have to tell my friends, like, man, I'm hurting way too much. I can't meet you guys out. It's just like, it hurts, you know? Like, it hurts. Like, I don't want myself to ever be there, but it hurts if you had to see anyone else be in that circumstance. Don't want to be limited. Want to be able to connect, socialize. We did talk about that already, but so much is important about doing that. And that's why, like, I love what you guys have here. This is a beautiful thing. Even if it's just to be out, connect, and share stories, right? That alone is amazing. People of similar mindsets, similar goals. It's incredible to be able to do this. So seeing the long goals, seeing the long term, and not letting us be distracted by those very short-term gratifying things or those easy things to reach for. Lessen those things. Lessen those things. You don't have to eliminate them. Lessen. We want to develop a better understanding of all of these concepts. The way that I would like to frame it, keep becoming a student. We may have graduated from high school or whatever other, level of education that you've already done. But never stop being a student. Keep learning. Learn about some of the ideas that I've discussed. Learn about other ideas. This whole movement, nutrition, like all these things, there's so much to learn. And it can be incredible. And then you can have discussions, so you can start to solidify some of these ideas in your head, right? So never stop being a student, but then also keep learning about yourselves. Understand, like, hey, like what might be a cue for me that indicates that I'm hungry versus what might actually be a craving. What's a craving for me versus what actually I need? Do I need food or do I need water? How do I know that, right? Like, so little internal cues that our bodies can have. Understand that about ourselves. Understand what triggers us. Like, what makes me angry? What happens when I'm angry? Do I reach for food? If I get upset, if I get overwhelmed, is food what I reach for? That's me. I've done a lifetime of that. Food is more so a trigger for me. I've kind of expressed it before, like everyone might have a vice. For some people, it's alcohol. We understand alcohol is destructive. I don't reach for alcohol. That's a me personal thing. That could be someone else. But food's what I reach for. And that's destructive for me too. That's a destructive thing that I could reach for. But I understand that about myself. And I also know what might lead me to that point so that I can better identify when I'm in those moments and talk myself down of like, we know what's happening right now, Pete. Let's not do the destructive thing. Let's find a better one. Let's breathe. Let's take some breaths. Let's get some water. Let's just relax. Let's calm down, right? So better understanding ourselves is a super, super important thing for us to stay on task with our goals. And then the last thing that I want to end with is just a little statement. Yet again, the goal of taking away a lot of fear out of movement, out of the ideas that we're talking about. But if you get to a point where you're just like, I can't do that, I personally don't agree with that. In the better question, how can I do it? It might not look like what someone else does, and that's an okay thing. But how can I do it? How can I get myself to move in a better way, even if it's not perfect? If it's going to be something that I know will benefit me and be a positive for my life, how can I do it? And I hope that can be something that encourages you guys to keep motivating yourselves and keep moving and keep doing the great things you're already doing here. So, God bless you guys. Thank you. Thank you guys for